Yeah, we're gonna break down that X-Men thing with Victoria Alonso, what she said.
So you guys have a lot of toys to play with now in the future, including the X-Men, right?
Yes.
Could you, of course you can't tell me much, but can you give me a little hint of what the future is coming? Where is the future going and the excitement?
I don't know where the future is going. It's funny that people call it the X-Men. There's a lot of female superheroes in that X-Men group, so I think it's outdated.
At an interview, when the guy referenced a property by its name, it's been known as its trademark X-Men, and she said it's
And it's funny that people call it the X-Men. There's a lot of female superheroes in that X-Men group, so I think it's outdated.
it's a little outdated. That's the name of the group. That's what they've been called is IP. You know these things. What are you really trying to imply? Because if you knew the comic book, um, the comic book has been created. I believe since the '60s, if I'm not mistaken, right? So to be surprised, people still call it X-Men from the its most beloved Fox Saturday morning cartoon. It's funny that it's called that. Let's be for real. You want to inject a whole other kind of conversation about it. And is it any surprise that this is during the Captain Marvel interview? But I wanted to go over some numbers real quick so you guys can know real game, especially you ladies, especially if you subscribe to this extra idea in media that women have been held back in comic book movies like it's a civil rights era type of thing. Well, if you subscribe to that, I want to appeal to your intellect for one moment so we can find out for sure, because you got to ask yourself first, though, before we go any further. Are you more interested in being right, proving that you're right, or finding the right answer? Because those are two different questions. Now let's get into some math real quick. Here goes a couple of fun facts. And we're going to ask ourselves, why haven't you seen a lot of superhero movies? The first superhero film was 1978's Christopher Reeve's Superman, right? Do you know what the second film franchise was, superhero film franchise was that hit the theaters? Take a wild guess. It ain't Batman. No. Want another guess? Clearly, we know it's not Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman has been around for years. To save time on this video, it's Supergirl. Yeah. And I actually love that fucking movie. Watched that shit when I was a little dude, yay high to knee high. You dig it? Love that movie. I don't know if my sister really too cared for it, to be honest with you, but that's gonna come back around. Because I don't know a lot of girls that even talked about Supergirl. There's probably more men out here remembering watching that movie before any little girl can have a memory about it. So who was really supporting it? Now let's do some math. If the second film franchise after Superman, right after Superman, was Supergirl, and Supergirl came out in 1984, Superman came out in 1978. So relatively, there's been only 6 year difference. But there were other superhero movies. You know what the other superhero movie was? And remember, I'm gonna pull out a lot of numbers. Google is your friend. Be a friend of Google. 1978, right? Superman. Superman 2 came out in 1980, right? Then 1983 came Superman 3. 1984 was Supergirl, and Superman 4 came out in 1987. Now, if you want to see an inequity, what you have to try to do is ask yourself, well, where is the unfairness? Why wouldn't we see another superhero film franchise from a comic book, at least from a comic book? You know what I mean? And remember, we're talking about comic book heroes. Till, like, I think Elektra was the next one. That was an actual live action film that was headlined by a comic book character, like superhero character. You know what I mean? There's probably other characters, but I can't think of. I don't want to do that. So now, Superman, on a budget of $55 million in 1979, made $300.5 million worldwide. Superman 2 in 1980, on a budget of $54 million, dropped to $190.4 million at the box office. Now, if you pay attention to the game, the budget was $1 million less, but they lost about almost a third of how much they made in the original movie, but it was still considerably profitable. 1983 was it grossed $80.15 million worldwide on a budget of $39 million. Now notice something. The budget went down as the profits started to go down. This is 1983. So when they tried to bring in Supergirl, a brand new superhero franchise, it came in on a budget of $35 million. How much did it make? It made $14.3 million at the box office worldwide. It made less than its budget. Superman 4, they dropped that budget down to $17 million in 1987, 2 years before Batman. It made $39.08 million at the box office. It still made more than its budget, so it made something after promotional costs. It might have broke damn near even. This is why you never seen anything else afterwards. The decline in returns. So if Supergirl came out and they put it out 6 years after Superman, even when they noticed everything was declining, that was the first real major hit in superhero films because no one came out to go see it. So are you going to tell me that Hollywood wasn't interested, or Hollywood saw that there was no profit in putting that kind of money into superhero films because mostly the market was guys went to go see superhero films? And don't tell me what y'all was taught. Girls were taught this, that. I'm talking numbers, dollars and cents. This is dollars and cents. This is just math before we get into anything. And if you want to say what people was taught to do, you have to prove that argument. Otherwise, at the end of the day, it didn't turn into any kind of money. And if you're in a business, your business is to make money. And at 14.3 worldwide at a budget of $35 million, you see why it took a long time before they tried to do it again. And guess what they also did, though? They did bring you Catwoman in Batman's Returns, so we brought you an anti-hero. Look, it's not that no one didn't want to deal with superhero females because it was already existing for years in the comic books. There was a market for it. Guys were already interested in it. The question was, were women going, in the public at large, willing to go in at mass and pay their money to go see it on screen? I don't know, you tell me. Just a thought. Yo, man, let's do it, man. Google's your friend. Be a friend to Google. These bullets have no names, man. I just take in. Only hit dogs holler. Scream at me if holler ain't enough. Let's get it.